The 2nd of April, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. Welcome, Phil. Shvuto. Good morning.
Good morning. Very busy morning. You just took a break to hear you from the cleaning.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you're busy, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get right at it. Alan is here. If he's we'll hope that he'll come in. And in the meantime, let's see, where are we holding here? Yeah. So we got this memory over here of Reb Chia bar Abba, Reb Yochanan, about a Ton Tanis Gan of Baveda. So we said that Ton Tanis Gan of Baveda, according to Reb Yochanan, there's a din that he pays kefil if he swears falsely that the Aveda that he found was stolen. Pays kefil on that. And so then we had a brisa that was brought as a kasha from Abu Bar Marmel, and basically the substance of the kasha was like this. There's two cases that the brisa is contrasting over here by a Toin Tanas Gan of a pikadon, not an Aveda, of a pikadon. And the two cases are that, based upon the drushes, the brisa says that the only one that can make a Toin Tanas Ganav out of the custodian, and he swears falsely based upon the claim of the depositor, is if the depositor is an adult. But if he is a child, so that giving over of the item for safekeeping will not have the koach to force the custodian to be able to have to make a shvu against him, and therefore won't come to a din kefil. So he's a good kasha. Rav Armamil says, look at this rice over here. Even in a case where the item was given over to this custodian, he doesn't have to swear if the one that gave him over was a cotton, and there won't be a din kefil. If so then tahavi nami ka'aveda, let it be according to Rabbi Yochanan, on the other hand, who says that even somebody who finds an object can be forced to make a shvua and ultimately pay kefil if he swears falsely. So the brisa seems to be out and out contradiction and refutation of the din of Rabbi Yochanan, that he would that the finder would pay kefil. That's what we got so far. And so now let's go on to, oh, by the way, where are we holding over here? This is 106b. Amalei Hachmayas Kinen Gigoncha Ochlu Keshehu Kotten. That's what we're up to. That's going to be the Gemora's answer over here. Where is that? This is the about 10 lines from the bottom of the page, and the first words on the line are Shehu Kotten.
Okay, so it's 106b5. It's the very top of the page. Amar le hacha my b'mayas kinan. Reb Chia bar Abba replies.
Want to read, Lou?
Okay. Okay. What are we dealing with here? Kagon she achalo she kishehu katan. It is a case where the custodian consumed the deposited article while the depositor was yet a minor. Custodian consumed the deposited item while the depositor was a minor. So a minor gives something that's consumable to an adult to hold, to watch for him, and the adult, the custodian, consumes it, uses it up, and the depositor is still a child at the time that the item is used up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't get why that matters.
Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, it's not apparent to me either. What's the how is this answering the case? In other words, so therefore we're trying to explain with this answer why it is that in the case of a Veda, on the other hand, if that the one that finds the Aveda could be forced to swear and pay kefil if he swears falsely to the owner of the Aveda that challenges him. Let's see. There's a Rashi over here. Sha'achlu, 3 lines from the bottom.
Sha'achlu, Bava bayit pikadon. The guy whose pikadon it is, ba'o shemafkid katan, as long as it's under the control of the katan, the low yered, because it doesn't, the deposit, low yered, doesn't fall, this deposit doesn't fall, Latoris Tana, for a claim of the, on the law of the claim of the thief, Me'alom, at all. Aval, Aveda, but it's a lost object. Mechi mata, that it is under his hand. The hayev, he's chayev lay. Shahara yesh la baalim b'nei tana, that the owners are able to claim. They are claimants.
Yeah. So Rashi's giving us the answer. So the answer is that the Gemora is making a distinction between the case of in the case that Rabbi Yochanan is talking about, when Rabbi Yochanan is talking about Baal Veda being obligated to make a shvua to the one that lost the item. Rashi's saying over here, this is the last few words of the Rashi. Aval Aveda, in the case of Aveda, it's not like the case of the deposited item. We're saying that the case of the deposit item, says Rashi, Balaveda, Balabais she'ochlu Balabais lepikadon ba'od shehamafkid katan. What that means is that the Balabais is referring to really referring to the shomer. We call him Balabais because the pasuk calls him Balabais. It's a bit confusing because sometimes you might think that Balabais is the one who deposited the item, but no. When Rashi says Balabais, he's referring to the custodian. So the custodian ate the pikadon, the deposited item, ba'od shehamafkid. What's the word hamafkid mean?
He deposited.
He's the one who deposited it. Ba'od shehamafkid, the one who deposited it, was a katan. Ba'od shehamafkid katan. So the custodian, he, at the time that he ate the item, the Baal HaPikadon, the mafkid, the one that deposited it to him, was still a katan. And therefore, what says Rashi? The lo yared pikadon zeh l'toras taina mi'olam. And as such, this deposited item never entered into the realm of being an item which could be subject to a claim of responsibility, which would necessitate a shvua against it. Okay, so in other words, aval, says Rashi, but the case of Rabbi Yochanan is a different case. From the point that it came into the hand of the finder, the high is him, is referring to the finder. He already was obligated to watch this and to answer to the one who owns it if he is not able to produce it upon demand. Why? Says Rashi, very simple. The Gemora means to say here, Shaharei Yeshlo Bailim B'nei Tanasa. Rashi says, obviously, the distinction that the Gemora is saying over here is that Rabbi Yochanan is talking about a case where the reason why in the case of the Aveda he is going to be liable is because at the time already that it came into his hands, it was already it was owned at that point by an owner who was already an adult. So in such a case like that, when it comes into the hands of the finder, the owner is an adult. That's somebody that the finder has to answer to.
I don't understand. How do we know the owner is an adult?
That's the Gemara's explanation of how it is that Rabbi Yochanan, in other words, really, according to this answer, what the Gemara is saying, there's really no difference whatsoever between the case of Pikadon and the case of Aveda. There's no real difference. Both cases, the rule is that if the one that if the owner of the item is an adult, you have to answer to him. And that's really what Rabbi Yochanan is saying. He's saying even in a case where there was no one that gave it over to you, but you found it. But if at the time that you found it, you found the lost object of someone that you have to answer to, an adult, so that's why Rabbi Yochanan says that you'll be liable for kefil if this custodian swears falsely. Not the custodian, the finder rather. You're asking, how do we know that the Rabbi Yochanan is talking about that? That's the only way that Gemora can get to answer the challenge from the Brisa. There's no other answer. There's no other answer. It has to be because the sod of the answer is there's really no difference between these two cases. Whether you find it, whether it's given over to you in your hand by the owner, it makes no difference. What makes a difference is because both of those people, the custodian as well as a finder, are a shomer. They're one of the Daled Shomrim. They're one of the four people that have an obligation to watch the item that they have in their possession now. And even in the case where he finds it, no one gave it to him. So one might think he has no obligation to him, to the finder, to the owner of the lost object. No, if the owner of the lost object is an adult, the finder has the very same obligation to watch it and to answer to him, what did he do with it? As in the case of a custodian, as the case of a custodian who is given the object into his hand by the owner and said, "Please watch this for me."
Hello, I'm back again. It's finally working.
Yay! Hooray!
Don't know what happened, but it's back. In
Baruch Hashem.
full sound and full
Oh.
picture.
Oh yeah, you got full sound. Very good.
And you're
Well,
not
we're happy that you're back.
and you're not moving.
I'm not moving.
Your picture is solid right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but
Baruch
your
Hashem,
picture
you're
doesn't
right.
work.
That's right. See that? I forgot all about that.
Your picture doesn't work though, Alan.
I know.
Yeah, we can't see you, Alan.
I know. It got lost and I can't get it back.
Any suggestions for Alan how he can get his picture back?
Let's see. Click on the up arrow on the right-hand corner of the stop video button. On the bottom of the screen on the left, it says stop
Yeah.
video.
Right.
Click on the arrow,
Okay.
and do you have any choices of which camera to choose?
No.
Is something checked? Is there something that's checked in that box?
No.
Does it say video settings on the bottom?
No, it doesn't.
What does it say?
Start video or stop video?
No. You got to click on the arrow that's pointing upwards on the upper right of that stop video, start video button.
Okay. I did integrated camera.
You should get a pop-up that says select camera on the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there something checked?
Integrated camera.
Is there another choice?
No.
On the bottom, does it say video settings?
Then yeah.
Click that.
Okay.
All right, now you should get another pop-up. Is there a picture of you in the pop-up?
No.
Is there a blank screen in the pop-up?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see it says camera, and
Mhm.
there's a little arrow on the right side of that field.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that arrow. Do you see any choices?
No. It hasn't been working in it for a long
No
time.
choices?
Oh.
All right.
Start Windows. Use dual monitors. Full screen automatically.
Okay, I'm out of ideas.
Yeah, leave it alone right now.
Sorry.
It's okay. Maybe if my son stops by one day, maybe we can fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, something is happening on your screen, but I don't know what it is. It's switching from one kind of brown to another kind of brown. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's as much as I can suggest.
Okay, Alan, we hope you get your picture back very soon.
Me too.
But Baruch Hashem, at least you're at the meeting and and we can hear you. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you very soon, Bezrat Hashem. Okay, so that's the Gemora's answer. Is more answer clear? Any further questions on the answer?
No,
Okay. So let's take a look at the looks like the Gemora is going to have another comment over here on this answer. Alan, would you like to read for us?
Alan, you're muted. All right, you want me to read?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on 106B5 and left-hand side, third paragraph. Rab Abba Bar Mamo retorts, Aval ke shehu gadol my. But if the custodian consumed it when the depositor was an adult, what do you contend is the law? Achi nami dima shalem. Here also, he has to pay.
Oh,
My English says he has to pay kefil.
right. Right. That's the issue. Whether he has to make a shvua altogether, and if he does have to make a shvua, so then the din will be that if he swears falsely, he'll pay kefil like the other cases.
Ihaki ad sanna ad shetehei nechina ut via shavan keechad. If so, instead of stating the laws stated in the passage do not apply unless the giving of the deposit and the suing for its return are alike, both occurring during the depositor's adulthood, lishne ad shetehei achila usavia shavin be'echad. The Brisa should state the laws stated in the passage do not apply unless the consumption of the deposit and the suing for its return are alike, both occurring during the depositor's adulthood. I don't get that. I thought we said if it's one and not the other, it works.
Okay, what did we say so far in this brisa? So we said in this brisa that the brisa was coming to teach us there was a smichus between two psukim in the parsha over there. One pasuk was talking about kiyitain ish are'eu. So we saw the pasuk that talks about the giving over, the mesira of the deposited item, that it mentions that it was given over by an ish. So that means an adult and not a child. And then there was a pasuk later on the Brisa quoted that it said in the same parsha, just a couple psukim after that, Ad Elohim yavod devar shneim. The matter of the two parties will come before the judges, and then the next part of the pasuk says Yishalem shnaim l're'eu. If he's going to become he's going to be made guilty, so then he'll have to pay double. So the Gemara drew made a hekesh from these two psukim, that pasuk of Ad Elohim Yavod Dvar Shneim, that was referring to the tefillah, that they're going to both parties going to go before the judges, and the plaintiff is going to make his tefillah. So the Gemara, the Brisa made a legal comparison between the giving over of the item, which specifically listed in the pasuk that it was given over by an adult, and this second pasuk, which was talking about the tefillah, when they're both in the bezdin, the plaintiff, the depositor, makes a claim against the custodian, that the Brisa says achite nesinu tefillah shavin ke'echad. The din of this parsha is that you need to have both ke'echad, both the giving over as well as the claim that's made in bezdin must be by a gadol, an adult. It's not enough, in other words, that the claim is made by an adult in the bezdin, but he had to be an adult also at the time of the giving over. Otherwise, the custodian cannot be forced to swear against him. So that's what we had. That's what the Brisa says. Now, the Gemara now is saying, though, that 1 second, if you just said that we're talking about a case where the custodian ate the item, and the depositor was still a cotton. He was still a child, and like that, that's why he's going to be exempt. The custodian, he's not going to have to make a shvua. If he would make a shvua, it's not going to be a chiv kefil, because he had no obligation to make a shvua against the minor, against the cotton, the child. So if so, says the Gemara, if that's so then the Brisa, the Gemara say that the Brisa should have made this distinction between whether he was an adult at the time that the custodian consumed the deposited item, and whether he was and the bezdin, the tefillah and the bezdin, as opposed to the time of the giving over. Which the Brisa should have made such a distinction. That's the Gemara saying here. You know what? Let's take a look at Rashi. Let Rashi do the talking for us. Rashi can say it in much fewer words than I could. So we're up to Rashi. Hachanami the Mishalim.
Here also he has to say the Mashagedil, so when he grows up, the Katan, the Naaseh Bar Ta'ana, then he's made into somebody who can make a claim, who is a Tanas, make the the claim of the Pikadon claim, the Chayiv, that he's Chayiv in this. Laba, to come Ima with him, Ladin to the judges, to the court. But Avogav, even the Chayiv Lohavi, Linitina, even though Linitina Lohavi, even though he didn't give it to him.
No, Avogav the Nesina Lohavi. He wasn't. What wasn't he at the time of the Nesina?
Well, he wasn't a gadol. He was just a katan. Still.
Right. So really, we got three different junctures over here in this case over here. We have the giving over of the owner. We have the the eating of the custodian, and then we have the tviya, the claim that's made in Bezdin when they go to Bezdin on the case. So what Rashi is telling us over here is Hachidami the Mishalim that even though this katan, he was a katan at the time of the giving over, but if he became a gadol in the interim, such that at the time that the custodian eats it, the katan has already become a gadol. So then that's what the Gemora is saying over here. Hakanami the mechayev, he'd have to pay the custodian for making a false shvua. And that's what Rashi points out. Afugav the Nasina lo habe. Even though at the time of the Nasina, he was not. He was not at the time of the Nasina a gadol.
Over here.
Okay, so what's the significance of this? The significance of this is that the Brisa should have made note of this. Ad tiye nesina utvia shavin ke'echad, lisnei ad tiye achila utvia shavin ke'echad. Says the Gemara, if it's so, if it is in fact the case, like you are answering me, that even though he's a katan at the time of the giving over, but if he's a gadol at the time that the custodian eats it, and of course, if he's a gadol at that point, he's going to also be a gadol at the time of the tviyah. If so, then even though he was a katan at the time of the Nasina, if that is so, if the din is like that, says the Gemora, not the Gemora. That's the question of Rav Bar Marmal over here on Rav Chia Bar Abba. If that would be so, then the Brisa should have told me that that's the definitive factor that we're looking for over here. The Brisa made the definitive issue whether that it wasn't enough that the depositor was a gadol at the time of the tefillah in the bezdin. He also has to be a gadol at the time of the nesina, like it says in the like the pasuk says. The pasuk says ki ish. But now the Gemara is saying no, he doesn't really even need to be a gadol at that point. It's enough that he's a gadol at the time that the custodian eats his thing. So if so, says the Gemara, that should have been the distinction that the Brisa said. But the Brisa didn't make that distinction. Oh, now, if the Brisa didn't make that distinction, then now what does that tell us? Adatani achitiye nasina utvia shavin ke'echad, lisnei adatihe achila utvia shavin ke'echad. That's what the Brisa should have said. And on that, the Gemara answered, Amalei Tani achitiye achila utvia shavin ke'echad. Oh. You know what the Gemara is answering? Gemara is saying, yeah, right. That's the. It sounds like the Gemara is saying, yeah. What we got to do is we got to change the words of the Brisa. Okay. This is something that the Gemara will do when it's forced into a corner. It's got no other thing to say. Gemara can say it. Can't say it in a Mishnah. A Mishnah is more difficult to say, but the Gemara is willing to say it on a brisa, because a brisa hasn't been gone over with a fine-tooth comb, all the brises necessarily like a Mishnah has. The Mishnahs are clear in what their words are, and there's not any doubt about. Everybody knows that those is what the Mishnah says. But over here with the brisa, that's what Gemara says sometimes, that we have to say that the brisa says like this. And so that's what the Gemara is answering over here now. According to the answer that we've just given, that he would in fact be chayev if the cotton turned into a godel at the time that he ate it, the custodian. So that's the din. He'd be chayev over there. He'd have to make a shvua, and that shvua he'd be chayev to pay for if he swore falsely, and as such, the Gemara's got no answer other than to say that, yeah, this brisa here, we've got to change the words of the brisa. This is what the brisa should say. You're right, just like you said. Okay.
Hello. How you doing?
Kind of hard to read into the words of the pasuk though, because the pasuk we said says ki yitain ish. It sounds to me like the plain understanding of the pasuk is that if a ish will give over his item to a watchman to watch, and you need, in order to force the custodian to make a shvua, you need that already at the time of the nesina, that he's got to be an adult, because it says ki yitain ish. But in any case, somebody must have to answer that question. And is there an answer to that? Tosfos. Maybe Tosfos asked this question. Okay, I don't know. We don't have time for Tosfos over here, but there's a Tosfos over here on this this middle Tosfos. Okay. So with the time that we have left, let's just read the Gemara's answer. The Gemara is going to answer now because right now what we're holding is we have a difficulty. We have a difficulty. Actually, not sure what the difficulty is, though. I thought we answered it just now. We just changed the language of the brisa, but seems like Rav Ashi has. We'll see. Let's take a look at what Rav Ashi says. Luke, yeah.
Okay, Rav Ashi said we're on 106B5, right-hand column at the very top. Lo dame. The case of a deposit given by a minor is not analogous to that of a lost article that a finder took in. Aveda ka asya mikoach ben das. A lost article comes to the finder's possession on the strength of one who is mentally competent. V'ha lo asya mi koach ben das. But this one, i.e. the deposit given by a minor who later reached adulthood, does not come into the custodian's possession on the strength of one who is mentally competent. I don't, I guess what they're saying that a minor is not considered to be mentally competent?
Right. Yeah, the Gemora has said this is not a chiddush. The Gemora says this in other places. A katan, according to the halacha, he doesn't. He's not a bardas. So the Gemara is using this as a distinction over here in the cases.
Mhm.
I have to work out what. In other words, what? In other words, what?
I think we're saying that the finder of the lost article is, since he's not competent, he doesn't have responsibility for the lost article, whereas because he's a minor, whereas a person who receives a deposit
said no,
even if he's a minor,
but then I.
since receiving a deposit is not dependent on his mental competency, he is responsible.
Yeah, I'll look for that.
Does that make sense?
Oh, lo osya mikoyach ben das.
What about,
The Aveda came into his hand through a ben das.
to do the topic?
Lo osya mikoyach ben das.
It was, we're sorting out the whole, but I think yours worked out.
In the case of the Pikadon lo osya mikoyach ben das. It wasn't given over by a ben das.
And I got the.
So even though the Pikadon is still in existence at the time that the and is eaten, I guess, at the time that the cotton turned into a gadol, we can't be mechayev the custodian for a shvua in that case. What I don't understand is that I thought we just got through saying that we had a new we made a new din. I mean, we were changing what we said before. We were changing what we said before. We were saying it doesn't, even if he is a katan at the time of the giving over, but if he's a gadol at the time of the eating, so he's then the custodian has to answer to him. So and I guess what Rav Ashi is saying is like this. Rav Ashi is saying it seems that he's arguing with he seems like he's saying it's not so that the din is like that. It's not so that it's enough that he's a gadol at the time of the eating. In other words, Rav Ashi is saying, lo damim, these two cases are not comparable. These two cases are not comparable. You can't compare apples and oranges. Why are the cases apple and oranges? Because you're trying to compare a case of a Veda to a case of Pikadon, where the case of Pikadon is totally different. The case of Pikadon, in other words, what determines the responsibility of the one who has the item in his possession right now? For an Aveda, it's at the time that he finds the Aveda, and for a custodian, it's at the time that he's given over the item. But you're those are the times that we have to compare who is a gadol and who is a katan. And according to what we said just in the last in the last step of the Gemora, we were not making a comparative. We were making a comparable case. We're making a comparable case. You have to make a comparable case, says Rav Ashi. And so, like that, that's the basis of comparison.
I clean them during the year.
So in other words, in the case where in other words, it makes sense to say that yeah, we'll have to continue this. Okay. All right. We're late.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay,
Okay,
take care.
We'll get back to his cleaning. And we'll
Yeah,
get back to
thanks.
all of our things.
All
Have
Too.
a
right,
good
Lucy.
day, Phil. Have a good
Okay.
day, Alan.
Phil.
Louis, see you
Okay.
later.
Alan, I'll
Take
see you
care.
at 5:04.
Okay, good.
Beautiful.
Bye,
Take care.
Alan.
Bye-bye.